Welcome everyone. This video is the first part of our series where I will tell you about the 10 things you don't know about movies and cinema. You could call it 10 amazing facts which will surprise you. You can find more videos like this on our channel and subscribe for more. And now, let's just start. A Spider-Man scene took 156 takes. Well, when first Spider-Man film released in the 2002 and got massive hit and we all loved it and still do. And I don't have to remind you about its famous scene when Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker is seen coming to the help of his crush, Mary Jane, where she slips inside their school cafeteria and her lunch goes flying into the air, but Peter manages to swoop in, stop her fall, and catch all of her lunch items using her tray. But did you know that this iconic scene wasn't made using CGI, nor was it stapled together from different takes? And you will be surprised to know that scene was actually performed by Tobey Maguire, but it took him 156 takes to do that. Kirsten Dunst, our beloved Mary Jane, confirmed that no CGI was used, and adds that the tray was apparently stuck to Maguire's hand during filming to help him catch the items. And in the film's DVD commentary we heard when a visual effects supervisor John Dykstra was saying this next gag here, where he catches all this stuff, actually did that. Pretty good. Take 156. And now this adds one more reason to believe that Tobey is the best Spider-Man of all time.
Wow, great reflexes.
Insane training of Eddie Redmayne. Actors work very hard to achieve perfection in their historic roles. Like that to play Stephen Hawking in Theory of Everything, Eddie Redmayne trained himself insanely to achieve what we saw on screen. He lost weight about 15 pounds and trained for 4 months with a dancer to learn about how to control his body. He met with 40 ALS patients and kept a chart tracking the order in which Hawking's muscles declined. He stood in front of a mirror and practiced for hours, contorting his face. He remained motionless and hunched over between takes, so much so that an osteopath told him he had altered the alignment of his spine. And we can clearly witness that effort in his performance on screen. But did you know that Eddie met with Stephen Hawking only once before filming? He said, in the 3 hours I spent with Stephen, he said maybe 8 sentences. So, I just didn't feel like I could ask him intimate things. Therefore, he found other ways to prepare for the role. And after that, Redmayne admits, I fear I'm a bit of a control freak, I was obsessive. I'm not sure it was healthy. And now, about this particular fact, what do you guys think about Eddie's efforts and his performance in film? Is it right to go insane for any role? Tell me in the comments section.
How that manifests itself in each patient is completely unique. So your finger can be lower, or your hand can be lower, and your arm can be upper, but that can vary. So what I was doing was taking photos of Stephen when he was younger, because there's no documentary material.
The Matrix code comes from sushi recipes. Now, I believe you watched all Matrix movies, then sure you remember this, when every Matrix movie opens with the same digital rain, vertical lines of code streaming down the screen to represent the virtual environment in which humans are unknowingly trapped. And you all will feel fooled when I tell you where this historic code came from. Actually, the man behind this iconic code was Simon Whiteley. He was a production and concept designer for the movie. He stated in an interview that I like to tell everybody that the Matrix's code is made out of Japanese sushi recipes. Without that code, there is no Matrix. By explaining that he scanned the characters from Japanese cookbooks owned by his wife and showed them on screen as some advanced computer code. Well, welcome to Matrix, my dear fellows. Nolan grow 500 acres of corn for one scene. As we all see, Christopher Nolan is a perfectionist and he does everything to make his movie as close as possible to reality. We experience his visions in every scene of his movies. So, by following his passion, he grew 500 acres of corn to film his iconic cornfield scene in his masterpiece film Interstellar. He then sold all the corn and it actually made him a good profit. And this very same cornfield was also used in the Superman and Lois scene in Man of Steel, because Nolan was the producer of that film. Story behind sketch scene of Rose in Titanic. We all love Titanic and we all remember the unforgettable scene where Jack sketched Rose with that historic necklace. Well, the story of that scene is that when Kate Winslet found that she had to be naked in front of Leonardo DiCaprio to perform that scene, she decided to break the ice, and when they first met, she flashed him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Wow. But that's not it, because it wasn't Leonardo who sketched Rose, it was actually the filmmaker James Cameron. Yes, he was the artist behind that famous nude sketch, because he is a remarkable artist, which Leonardo isn't. So, he actually made that portrait. The Lord of the Rings actor was afraid of flying. As we all know that some people are afraid of flying. So, during the shooting of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring movie, the cast often had to fly to remote shoot locations by helicopter. But Sean Bean, who played Boromir in it, was afraid of flying, and would only do it when absolutely necessary. So, when they were shooting the scenes of the Fellowship crossing the snowy mountains, he'd spend 2 hours every morning, climbing from the base of the mountain to the set near the top, already dressed as Boromir. The crew being flown up could see him from their helicopters. His phobia causes him to walk miles daily.
Boromir! Give the ring to Frodo.
NASA vs. Armageddon. Armageddon is one of the famous 90s sci-fi movies which shows how a group of oil drillers went to space, landed on an asteroid, and by drilling broke it into pieces to save the Earth. Well, did you know that when the movie came into theaters and became a massive success, NASA decided to show this film during their management training program so they can assess their new managers. NASA gave that task to the managers and asked them to spot as many errors as possible. And after spending hours, the team found at least 168 errors and loopholes in the film. Now, we can say that if it was Christopher Nolan's film, then NASA should be correcting their science, like they did on the time Interstellar.
So, we nuke this thing from the inside? How?
We drill. We're bringing the world's best deep core
Actress
drill.
almost died in water tank. During dangerous movie stunts, filmmakers do their best to avoid any harm, but sometimes all that can't stop the bad from happening. Similar happened on the set of Now You See Me. There was a scene where Isla Fisher's character had to get out of piranha tank while she was handcuffed, but she got into difficulty while filming the scene. Well, the top of the tank remained open so that Fisher would be able to swim to the top to get some air, and there was also an emergency lever inside the tank that, if pulled, would alert the crew that she needed help. But during one take, Fisher was running out of air and she tried to swim to the top, but the chains on the handcuffs got stuck on the bottom of the tank, so she was unable to swim to the top or pull the lever. She then attempted to alert the crew by hitting the glass of the tank. But since her character was supposed to be panicked and scared in the scene, the crew thought she was acting. So, unfortunately, she was stuck for 3 minutes before the stunt coordinator finally realized that something is wrong, and when he focused and he noticed that her handcuffs were stuck. Then everyone ran in panic and pulled her out of the tank. Fortunately, she was fine and saved before unthinkable could happen. Psycho broke the code. In the 60s, Hollywood had very strict rules about what to show on screen and what not. Like that, at the time of Psycho movie, the motion picture production code banned flushing toilets because it was considered filthy. But Psycho was the very first movie which broke that rule by showing everything in detail, and it became a key to putting the censoring code to an end. Aragon got injured during filming. In The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Viggo Mortensen's Aragorn is seen kicking a helmet as an expression of frustration as he thinks Merry and Pippin have died. Well, according to director Peter Jackson, that scene required 4 initial takes, after which he decided to give Mortensen one last try. During that final take, which is actually included in the movie's final cut, Mortensen lets out a drawn-out, primal scream after hitting the helmet and falls to his knees. The reason for this added intensity, it turns out, is due to the fact that Mortensen broke 2 toes when kicking the helmet, and integrated the pain into his performance as Aragorn. And now you know the Mortensen's passion behind Aragon's historic role. Alright friends, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me in the comments which one surprised you the most. Also, if you finished the video, hit the like button, share it with others, and make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. See you in the next video. Stay strong and keep watching STOLIS YouTube channel.